G'day and welcome to the next episode on OTT Adventures on our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching first and foremostly to those that have subscribed and all the rest of it. It sort of helps us out a little bit, as you all know. There's a fair bit that goes on with YouTube. But anyway, I'll get stuck into it. A little bit different this episode. This is probably a lot of what you shouldn't do, and a big learning curve for us in the way of what went down. I'll give you a quick short backstory before we get stuck into it. Took the two little young bloods this time, brother-in-law Mark, my nephew Cooper, and my young bloke Hudson. So it was the first time we've ever taken the boys on an overnight, or possibly we were going to stay a second night depending on how we were going with them. Obviously sand flies up a creek and kids don't really mix too well. But anyway, so long story short, we got stuck good, and middle of summer up here at the moment, 40 plus, 45. We just about ran out of water. So these two bottles was all we had left. Yeah, you know, stack it up, maybe a litre between four people. Not a real good combination in the Pilbara, to be honest with you. So yeah, pretty big learning curve for us. We're normally really good with our water. We've fished a fair bit up here. We know what it's about. Obviously we all yahoo and laugh about it and have a few beers, but there is a serious side to this when we do go fishing. It is very remote, as I said, when we go out on the coast. Not a skerrick of water, unless you're running D-cells and all the rest of it, which we don't. So we're normally very good with our water and fluids, but unfortunately this time was the first time for us to take the young guys. We didn't know what we were sort of going to be in for, but yeah, obviously we didn't know how quick they were burning through these. I think we had 10 of these. There's 12 litres, say, and a heap of 600s and some other fruit boxes and whatever. But yeah, so we didn't know how quick they were burning through them, and it turned into a bit of a, I'm not sure if we're going to make it home here. So we were looking at grabbing the EPIRB, being that the tide and all the rest of it was playing a part in it. But anyway, guys, stay tuned, watch it, learn from it. We've learned a lot from it. We need to learn a lot with our anchoring side of it, and big tides play a huge part as well, guys. But anyway, sit back, enjoy, and please don't try this at home. Oh!
Lost it.
Spat it right there. So we've been digging for a good hour or so. It's just about a weight loss program so far. Yeah, it's almost a bit of an all gear and no idea scenario, to be honest with you. We haven't got a whole lot of water left. If I could swear and swear really loud, I probably would, but not on the GoPro. G'day guys, and welcome to the next episode of OTT Adventures. So here we are, sunny Pilbara. As you would have seen, it bloody rained on the way here. Something different for us. But yeah, so we're up a creek, middle of nowhere. Absolute wild ride to get here. Probably one of the best. A lot worse than what you've seen in the last video. But anyway, we made it. A couple of little tribe on here today. We've got the little young bloods. We've got my young fella Hudson, and my nephew Cooper, and the brother-in-law Mark. And you would have seen Mark on one of the original Balla Balla videos. But so yeah, so here we are. We're gonna have a go, having a bit of a look around, trying to find some water. Pretty big tide today. We're gonna camp. We'll camp up on that beach up there, and probably have a fire later. We'll see how we go. But good run out tide now, so we're just going to do a couple of laps with the lures, maybe try and find some liveys once this water gets out of the mangroves a bit and pulls the mullet out of the mangroves. But that's us. There you go, right on cue. The sun's out. Right, that's probably some of the hardest work I've done for a long time. Throwing a 12-foot net off the bank.
Want these beers?
Yeah, I'll have a beer, thanks. Might need one, might need two actually. But yeah, so not real fruitful on the livey side of it, but we did get one thing. Nice big diamondback mullet. So we might chuck him on the coals tonight. Have a feed of that. Not sure what dinner is tonight. Didn't do the shopping. But anyway, as you can see, we're high and dry here.
Dinner tonight's probably fish in a wrap.
fishing a wrap. There you go, you've heard it from the chef. But yeah, so high and dry. Weren't too sure what was going to happen here. There's a little bit of a hole here, not much to be honest with you. So yeah, we weren't too worried about beaching the boat. We're not going to do a hell of a lot now. We're going to gather a bit of wood. Might go for a look through these mangroves, see if we can find a muddy while this tide's down low. Anyway, time for a beer. Unfortunately, this was the biggest crab we could find walking through the mud. It's bloody horrible stuff. It was up to your knees in some spots. But anyway, not much of a feed off this fella, so we let him stay. It's just about a weight loss program so far this trip. First thing you do is tell the boys, don't get dirty. What happens? One falls over straight away in the mud. Anyway, this is what it is. We've got a couple of clothes there, not many, but we'll see how we go. Pretty much low tide now. So, just plugging around here. Probably going to set up camp up here on the flat. Set up here somewhere. It's meant to be not much wind tonight, but as you can see, it's that time of year up here. Storms are starting to roll through. I'm tipping we may get wet tonight. Hopefully not. Not a real fan of the wet swag, as you all know. But anyway, we'll drag our stuff out the boat. She's well and truly high and dry now. And yeah, set up a little camp, get a fire going. So we went and collected a bit of wood, lit a nice fire, kicked back, enjoyed a few beers and watched the sunset. Morning guys. Bloody beautiful morning, not much breeze around. Tide's on its way out again, a couple of rods out off the beach here. Bloody pretty crazy night to be honest with you. I was up 3 or 4 or 5 times checking the boat and thought we were all over it. Had my alarm set for every hour or two, just checking it, make sure it stayed where it was. Just that one time I didn't get up, and there she is, high and dry. That's the high tide line, this little line of leaves and whatever else it is. But yeah, so we're in a bit of a pickle here. So we're hoping the tides are on the drop, so we're hoping the tides are going to make it this high again. Fingers crossed. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig like crazy, lower it out. One thing we do have up our sleeve though is I've mounted the electric winch in there. There's no rope on it, but we've got a bit of rope in there we may be able to put through the spool and maybe able to use electric winch, because the boat is heavy. It is quite heavy, even with not much in it, it's very heavy. And that's just Mount Mark pretty much, so we'll keep digging and see how we go. So we've been digging for a good hour or so, dug all the side of the boat out, and we've basically swung the nose around a bit. Whether that's going to make any difference or not, I don't know. Hard yak, it's going to be hot here today, so just set up a bit of a makeshift shade because we should have been out about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. We should have been able to get going. But I think we're going to be here till around pretty much high tide. Because like I said before, yesterday's high tide, last night's high tide, and it's getting lower. So we'll have to see if we can, yeah, hopefully it reaches the boat. So yeah, build a heavy boat, they said. It'll be fun, they said. She doesn't move very far. Alright, bit of an update of where we're at the moment. It's about 11 o'clock. It's bloody hot, like proper hot. Yeah, the boys have been motoring through the water. We haven't got a whole lot of water left, so I've had to tell them to curb it on the drinking of the water. So I've just been going out of control on it. But yeah, we've marked the low tide down there, or the tide. We've been, what was it, 8 o'clock this morning was low tide. It's now 11 o'clock, so we're 3 hours into the tide and there's absolutely no water come in yet. So high tide's at 2, so we're kind of hoping by 11 o'clock we might have had a little bit of water here. Definitely not going to be up as high as the boat, but yeah, it's not looking promising. It's starting to turn into a little survival mission, to be honest with you. But anyway, still got a few cold beers there. A little tent's going right over the back there. A little structure. No one wants to sit under it though. It's bloody hot under there. But yeah, it's not a whole lot. A few sharks and one cod. That's all we've caught. It's very, very, very slow. So we're hoping when this tide turns, we'll have a couple of hours of fishing when the tide's on the move. And maybe we can get a thready or something. But yeah, pretty. Oh, Mark's out there still trying to get some liveys. They just lit up all around him and he still never threw it. Anyway, yeah, bloody hot. Definitely should be well and truly 40, minimum 40 here at the moment. Anyway, we'll still sit back and wait, I suppose. Don't call it wait a while state for nothing. And yeah, it is what it is. Not much we can do. Just hopefully the high tide mark comes up high enough and we can rescue this boat. Otherwise, she might be an EPIRB job, I think. And we'll see how we go. Okay, so we're 4 hours into the tide now. It's just started coming. So I've made a bit of an executive decision this afternoon. We're going to have a bit of a fish for an hour or so. Once we can get the boat in, we'll have a bit of a fish and then we're going to hightail it back to the ramp. Otherwise, we're going to be leaving at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning trying to pack everything up with the kids and stuff. So unfortunately, it is what it is for this trip. Seems to be a bit of a barra buff there. Bit of an ongoing saga with me and camping up creeks at the moment. But yeah, it's almost a bit of an all the gear and no idea scenario, to be honest with you. Anyway, hopefully this tide comes up, we can have a go. We did have a go with that electric winch before. It was really good, but the rope we were using, because it's only designed for a 4mm rope, that winch, it's the little micro, and my anchor rope, I think it's 12mm, so the hole in the shaft of the winch didn't fit my rope. So we had a bit of smaller rope here, a bit of 8mm, and it fit through, but we actually broke it. So trying to pull the nose around a little bit. So we canned that idea. So the winch is good and it does work. Just needs a stronger rope on it, and we got that 4mm Dyneema, which is 1.5 ton pull, so we should be right with that. Anyway, as you can see, that tide's ripping, and fingers crossed it gets high enough to get to the boat. All right, just about got a bit of contact with some water. Dug a bit out, so maybe we can swing the front a little bit and give a little helping hand. You know, what do you reckon, boys? Good. Hopefully
it comes up in time.
Bloody oath. Hopefully it comes up all right, because I don't want to be stuck here for the next 2 weeks waiting for the next tide, because they're on the decrease at the moment. Anyway, haven't got much water left, so that's our problem. So actually, that's why we're gonna hit it. We're gonna have a fish for an hour and then hit it, because we're really low on water. I think we've got 2 litres left. A couple of beers obviously and a couple of cokes, but yeah, we didn't know that these young boys were burning through it as quick as they were. But yeah, so fingers crossed. Not long now. Righto, so I'll just pause that video there. What you didn't see was what happened in the next half an hour, or the half an hour prior to getting off. Basically there was a fair bit of panic, not verbally or anything, but just mentally. We were mentally panicking that, you know, we weren't going to get off. It was a couple of minutes before high tide, which I'll tell you in the next little bit. But yeah, so what happened was, basically we got enough water to push the front around, but not the back. It's obviously quite heavy in the back. There wasn't a lot of gear in the boat at the time, but we swung the nose right around and the boat was pointing downhill, which was obviously in our head is the right thing to do. But in doing that, swinging it around, it jacked the back of the boat right up, which put a lot of weight into the front of the boat. So that virtually made it high and dry again, even though the front was well and truly in the water. So yeah, adding a few weights together, 190 kilos of motor, 60 kilos of batteries, plus a whole heap of other stuff, and the weight of the aluminium, you're probably looking best part of 300 or 400 kilos just on the tail of the boat there. So yeah, basically if anyone's panicked mentally once before, yeah, you know that you become a little bit stronger than you probably think you are. So I'm tipping that's probably the only thing that got Mark and myself and the kids off that beach that day. But anyway, like I said guys, it's a learning curve for us, big one, real big one. But anyway, I'll let it keep rolling. Oh my God. What do you reckon, boys?
Oh dear.
It was hard work.
If I could swear and swear really loud, I probably would, but not on the GoPro. We were literally, it is just a few minutes before 2 o'clock on the high tide. And if I didn't have a hernia before, I think we both got one now trying to lift this freaking behemoth off the sand.
Look at that.
We swung the nose around, but what that did was it jacked the back of the boat up and forced the nose of the boat in. So I'm not sure if that was the right thing to do or the wrong thing, but hey, that's what we did. But you can see the leaf line on the beach. I'm probably tipping that's as high as it was going to get, so we are so lucky, considering we got, what do we got left, a 125 of water each and a few beers, so it wasn't looking real promising. So but anyway, how do you go, Hudson? What's the noise? Woo! Thank God for that. Alright, we're going to drag a couple of lures for about half an hour and then we're going to hit it. It's pretty ugly out there, as you can see it's pretty windy, but as hot as I am, I'm going to be frothing on the spray coming over the side, I think, to cool me down. So anyway guys, cheers, hopefully we catch a barra, make all this worth it, otherwise another learning curve. It's actually a really good learning curve actually, because Mark and myself, we're planning to hit the Kimberleys in May. And this 5 metre tide or 6 metre tide we had here is almost half of what we're going to be dealing with up there. So this is a bit of a recon trip for us. Some of the things we do need, some of the things we don't, because we're up there for 2 whole weeks living out of the boat. So yeah baby, can't wait. But anyway, so stoked to be floating again. Really need to work on the anchoring side of it. Yeah. Well deserved beer. Cheers. Woo. So there you have it. That's the end of the episode, guys. Yeah, so like I said, real big learning curve for us in the way of taking extra people and not just having to think about yourself. So yeah, please guys, be safe out there. It's very hot in the Pilbara and it is very hot in other parts of Australia as well. So make sure you take plenty of water, take more than you need, as we will be doing from the future from now on. And like I said, we are normally very good with our fluids. But this time we got caught out, and obviously the tides as well. Got caught out with the tides. I thought I did everything right, setting my alarm, getting up every hour, checking the boat. But the tide was that quick and moving that fast in and out, just in that hour. It was a huge movement. So we got caught big time twice here. So please guys, like I said, be safe out there, take it easy. As always, merch is out there guys. Smash that share button, smash that like button, and hit the notifications, because I do have people telling me that that they don't know that the next video was out. So anyway guys, cheers, thanks for watching, and as always, tell your mates.